I still remember the exact words my 8-year-old daughter whispered that Tuesday night. "Mom, please don't make me go to Aunt Rachel's house anymore." Her tiny hands trembled as she hugged her stuffed rabbit. Her voice was so quiet I almost thought I'd imagined it. I smiled, trying not to worry. "But sweetheart, you love Rachel." She looked down at the blanket. "I used to." Then she looked straight into my eyes. "She told me to lie to you." The room suddenly felt too small. Every sound disappeared except the pounding of my own heartbeat. Rachel wasn't just my babysitter. She was my best friend. The woman I'd trusted with my daughter more than anyone else in the world. And in that moment, everything I believed about our lives began to fall apart. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 36 years old, a nurse in Chicago, and a single mother to the greatest little girl in the world, Lily. People always asked how I managed 12-hour shifts while raising a child alone. The answer was simple. Rachel Morgan. We'd been friends since college. She was there when I married my late husband, David. She held my hand at his funeral after a drunk driver took him away from us 6 years earlier. When Lily was born, Rachel became her unofficial aunt. Birthdays. Christmas mornings. School plays. Ice cream after bad report cards. Rachel never missed a single moment. If anything ever happens to me, I'd once joked, "You're getting Lily." Rachel laughed. "You'd never get rid of me that easily." Back then, it sounded comforting. Now, those words echoed differently. 3 months earlier, Rachel had lost her marketing job. "I'm okay," she'd insisted over coffee. "I've got savings." But I knew she was struggling. So I offered something that seemed perfect. "Why don't you watch Lily after school? I'll pay you instead of hiring someone else." Rachel looked embarrassed. "I couldn't take your money. It isn't charity. It's helping me." Eventually she agreed. From then on, Lily spent every weekday afternoon at Rachel's townhouse until my shift ended. At first, everything seemed wonderful. Rachel helped with homework. They baked cookies, painted little flower pots, made ridiculous dance videos. Lily couldn't stop talking about her. Or, at least she couldn't at first. After about 6 weeks, something changed. Small things. Easy to ignore. Lily became quieter. She stopped asking to sleep over at Rachel's house. When I mentioned Rachel's name, she'd quickly change the subject. One evening I found untouched chocolate chip cookies sitting in our kitchen. "Didn't you bake these with Rachel?" She shrugged. "I'm not hungry." Not hungry? This was the child who once cried because we'd run out of cookie dough ice cream. Another afternoon, I picked her up early because my shift had ended sooner than expected. Rachel opened the door wearing a bright smile. Surprise! Lily came running from the living room. But instead of smiling, she looked nervous. Almost guilty. Rachel laughed. "We were just practicing multiplication." "Really?" I asked. Lily nodded too quickly. "Yep." Something felt off. But I couldn't explain why. A week later, Lily started having nightmares. Almost every night. She'd wake up crying. Sometimes she'd crawl into my bed without saying a word. One morning I gently asked, "Sweetheart, is someone bothering you at school?" She shook her head. "No." "Did someone say something mean?" "No." "Then what's wrong?" She forced a smile that broke my heart. "I'm okay." Children say those words differently than adults. Adults say them to end conversations. Children say them because they're afraid. I knew something wasn't right. I just didn't know where to look. Then came family day at school. Parents and relatives filled the gymnasium. Grandparents, aunts, uncles. Everyone cheering. Rachel came too. She waved excitedly from across the room. Lily saw her. Instead of running over, she grabbed my hand so tightly it hurt. Mom. What is it? Can we go home after my performance? Of course. You won't leave me with Rachel? The question stunned me. Why would I? Lily looked relieved. She wrapped both arms around my waist. I just wanted to make sure. Across the gym, Rachel smiled at us. Warm. Friendly. Exactly the same smile I'd trusted for over 15 years. Yet somehow, for the first time, it didn't reach her eyes. That night, after Lily had fallen asleep, Rachel called. You've seemed distant lately. I'm just tired. There was a pause. Did Lily say anything? The question caught me off guard. What do you mean? Oh, nothing. She laughed awkwardly. Kids imagine funny things sometimes. My stomach tightened. Why would you say that? No reason. Then she quickly changed the subject. We ended the call 5 minutes later. I barely slept. The following Tuesday, everything finally exploded. I tucked Lily into bed like always. Read 2 chapters of Charlotte's Web. Kissed her forehead. Turned off the lamp. As I reached the bedroom door, her tiny voice stopped me. Mom? Yes? She sat up, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Tears filled her eyes. Please don't be mad. I could never be mad at you. She hesitated. Then whispered the sentence that shattered my world. Rachel told me not to tell you. My heart froze. What did she tell you not to tell me? Lily burst into tears. She covered her face with both hands. When she finally looked up, her next words made my blood run cold. She said, if I told you what really happens after you go to work, you would stop loving me forever. I dropped to my knees beside Lily's bed. What do you mean, sweetheart? She was crying so hard her words came out in broken pieces. I didn't want you to hate me. Oh, Lily. I wrapped my arms around her. There is nothing you could ever say that would make me stop loving you. She buried her face in my shoulder. Rachel's words echoed in my mind. If you tell your mom, she'll stop loving you forever. Who says something like that to an 8-year-old? I waited until Lily's breathing slowed. Can you tell me what happened? She nodded slowly. Rachel said it was our secret. What secret? She said, after school, we don't always stay at her house. My stomach twisted. What do you mean? We go to another place. Another place? Every terrible possibility flashed through my mind. Where? I don't know. Can you describe it? Lily closed her eyes. There are lots of old people. Old people? They sit in wheelchairs. My confusion only grew. There are nurses. Some people cry. Some people sleep all day. I blinked. A nursing home? Rachel had been taking Lily somewhere else every afternoon? Without telling me? The next morning, I called in sick for the first time in almost 2 years. I couldn't focus on work. Not until I knew the truth. At 3 o'clock, I parked half a block from Lily's school. Rachel arrived exactly on time. She smiled at Lily. Lily smiled back. But it wasn't real. I knew my daughter. She was pretending. Rachel buckled her into the passenger seat. Instead of driving toward her townhouse, she turned east. I followed from several cars behind. 10 minutes later, she pulled into the parking lot of a small care facility. A sign read, Maple Grove Senior Living. I stared in disbelief. Rachel got out. Held Lily's hand. Together they walked inside. Why would she lie about something like this? I waited 5 minutes before going in. The receptionist smiled politely. Can I help you? I'm looking for Rachel Morgan. Oh. She smiled. She's in room 214. You know her? Of course. She's here almost every day. Almost every day? My pulse quickened. I walked quietly down the hallway. Soft music played through hidden speakers. An elderly man slept in a chair near the window. Another woman slowly worked on a puzzle. Room 214's door was slightly open. I stopped outside. Rachel sat beside an elderly woman with silver hair. Lily was reading a picture book aloud. The old woman laughed softly. You're getting so much better. Lily grinned. Really? Rachel smiled proudly. I told you she was improving. Improving? I didn't understand. The old woman reached into her sweater pocket. She handed Lily a wrapped peppermint. My favorite reader. Lily hugged her. I'll come tomorrow. Rachel noticed movement outside the door. She looked up. Our eyes met. The color drained from her face. Emily. The drive back to Rachel's house was painfully silent. Lily sat in the back seat. I followed in my own car. The moment we stepped inside, I turned toward Rachel. You lied to me. Rachel looked exhausted. I know. You've been taking my daughter somewhere every single day. I can explain. Then explain. She rubbed her temples. I never wanted to hurt you. Start talking. Rachel looked toward Lily. Sweetheart, could you watch TV for a few minutes? Lily quietly walked into the living room. The moment she disappeared, I exploded. What were you thinking? Rachel didn't raise her voice. Her reading. What? She was falling behind. I frowned. Our teacher called me. I stared. Our teacher? Rachel nodded. She couldn't reach you during your hospital shifts. So she called the emergency contact. That was Rachel. She said Lily was struggling with reading. I felt my chest tighten. I didn't know. You were working 70 hours a week. I thought I could help. So you lied? I found a volunteer reading program at Maple Grove. The seniors love reading with children. They practice together. Everyone wins. I remembered the smile on Lily's face. It had looked real. So why didn't you tell me? Rachel's eyes filled with tears. Because I made the biggest mistake of my life. Rachel sat down slowly. The first week. I planned to tell you. But Lily begged me not to. Why? She didn't want you to know she couldn't read as well as her classmates. My heart broke. Rachel continued. She kept saying. Mom already works all the time. I don't want her to think I'm dumb. I covered my mouth. My little girl had been carrying that alone? I thought. Rachel whispered. I thought I'd help her improve first. Then we'd surprise you. Instead. I kept waiting. And every day it became harder to admit I'd lied. I wanted to believe her. Part of me did. But another part couldn't forget what Lily had said. Then why tell her I'd stop loving her? Rachel froze. I never said that. The room went silent. Every hair on my arm stood up. What? Rachel slowly shook her head. I swear on everything. I never said those words. I stared at her. Lily told me you did. I didn't. For a long moment. Neither of us spoke. Rachel looked genuinely horrified. Finally she whispered. Emily. If I didn't say it. Then who did? A cold chill ran through my body. Because suddenly. For the first time. I realized there had been someone else at Maple Grove. Someone I hadn't even noticed. A man in maintenance clothes. Standing outside room 214. Watching Lily. watching us. And just before I walked in, he disappeared down the hallway. I couldn't stop thinking about the man in the hallway. He had blended into the background so easily that I hadn't given him a second thought. But now, something about him felt wrong. That night, after Lily fell asleep, I sat at my kitchen table replaying every conversation in my head. Rachel hadn't denied lying. She admitted taking Lily to Maple Grove without telling me. She admitted making terrible decisions. But when I asked about those words, "If you tell your mom, she'll stop loving you forever," her reaction hadn't looked fake. It looked terrified. The next morning, I drove back to Maple Grove alone. This time, I asked to speak with the administrator. A kind woman named Mrs. Jenkins welcomed me into her office. "I'm Emily Carter," I said. "My daughter has been coming here with Rachel Morgan." Mrs. Jenkins smiled. "Oh, little Lily. Everyone adores her. I have a few questions." "Of course. Is Rachel with her every minute?" Mrs. Jenkins frowned. "Not always." "What do you mean?" "Sometimes Rachel helps in other rooms while Lily reads to Mrs. Eleanor Brooks." My stomach tightened. "So Lily is alone for short periods?" "Usually 10 or 15 minutes. I swallowed hard. "Has anyone else been spending time with her?" Mrs. Jenkins's smile disappeared. "There was one complaint." My heart skipped. "A maintenance contractor. He tried talking to some of the children during family events. We warned him to keep his distance." "What was his name?" She opened a file. "Kevin Morris." "And after the warning?" "He finished his contract 2 weeks ago." 2 weeks ago. Exactly when Lily's nightmares had started. I drove home feeling sick. That evening, I waited until Lily finished dinner. Then I sat beside her. "I need you to be very brave." She nodded. "Do you remember the man who fixed things at Maple Grove?" Her little face instantly changed. Her fork slipped from her hand. "Mom. It's okay. You're safe." She looked toward the front door as if expecting someone to walk in. "He wasn't nice." My heart broke. "What happened?" She stared at her hands. "When Aunt Rachel helped other people. He talked to me." "What did he say?" "He asked why I didn't have a daddy." I felt tears sting my eyes. "And then?" "He said." She paused. "He said moms get tired of children who cause problems." My chest tightened. "He asked if I caused problems." "What did you tell him?" I said. "I wasn't very good at reading." She began crying again. And then he smiled. He said, "If your mom finds out how bad you are at school, she won't want you anymore." I closed my eyes. There it was. The sentence that had haunted my daughter. Not from Rachel. From a stranger who had found the deepest fear in a little girl's heart and used it against her. The next hour was a blur. I called Maple Grove immediately. Mrs. Jenkins was horrified. She promised to review every security camera from the weeks Kevin had worked there. She also contacted the local authorities. By the following afternoon, detectives visited my home. They gently interviewed Lily using child specialists. She bravely repeated everything. The officers explained that Kevin had made similar disturbing comments to other children at different facilities. He hadn't physically harmed anyone. But he had manipulated children by telling them cruel lies to frighten them. The investigation expanded quickly. Knowing he could no longer work around vulnerable families brought me a small measure of peace. But I still had another relationship to repair. Rachel came over the next evening. She looked exhausted. "I understand if you never forgive me." I was quiet for a long moment. "You broke my trust." She nodded. "I know. You made decisions that weren't yours to make." "I know. You should have told me where my daughter was." "I should have." Tears rolled down her face. I kept convincing myself I was protecting you. You weren't. I know. Silence filled the room. Then Lily walked in holding 2 mugs of hot chocolate. One for me. One for Rachel. She looked between us. Are you both mad? Rachel immediately wiped away her tears. I'm only mad at myself. Lily climbed onto the couch between us. I don't want to lose Aunt Rachel. Neither did I. Not completely. Rachel had made a terrible mistake. But she had also spent months helping Lily learn to read. Helping lonely seniors smile again. Loving my daughter. Her mistake wasn't cruelty. It was believing a lie could protect someone she loved. A month later. Life looked different. Every Wednesday after school, I took Lily to Maple Grove myself. Mrs. Eleanor Brooks waited with her usual peppermint candies. Only now. I sat beside them. One afternoon, Mrs. Brooks smiled as Lily finished an entire chapter book without stumbling over a single word. You've become quite the reader. Lily beamed. Then she looked at me. Mom? Yes? You still love me even when I mess up? I didn't answer with words. I pulled her into the biggest hug I could. You never have to earn my love. Not with good grades. Not by being perfect. Not by making me proud. You already have my heart. You always will. She smiled through happy tears. I know. Rachel never babysat alone again. That boundary never changed. Trust, once broken, heals slowly. But it can heal. Over time, she earned a place back in our lives, not the same place she once had, but an honest one. No more secrets. No more good intentions hidden behind lies. Just truth. Even when the truth was uncomfortable. Because I learned something I will never forget. Children don't always remember every gift you buy them. They don't remember every toy. Or every birthday party. But they remember who made them feel safe. And they remember who believed them. The day Lily finally told me the truth, she wasn't just asking me to uncover a secret. She was asking one simple question. Mom, will you choose me? And for the rest of my life. My answer will always be the same. Every single time.